This is Rainier Avenue Radio .world.
Yo.
What up, though?
I got to talk. I got to tell what I feel. I got to talk about my life as I see it.
All right, then. It's time for you to bring it to the table.
Turn up your radio wherever you at. We about to bring it.
Streetbeat.
With Tony B.
You're tuned in live to Streetbeat on Rainier Avenue Radio .world, your community radio station. Tony B, your host, will be interviewing Phyllis Porter, who will give an update on the Safe Streets project in advance of an event tomorrow where community members are set together to walk a stretch of Rainier Avenue in South Seattle to celebrate a project that has taken years to bring to fruition.
This is breaking news on Rainier Avenue Radio .world regarding Rainier Avenue, the city's most dangerous street when it comes to car accidents.
All right. And tell us what inspired you to get involved to make this change on Rainier Avenue.
Well, back in 2013, I started this organization. Started with a grassroots movement, Rainier Valley Greenways, and basically their mission was to make sure people in the community could get to and fro, across the street, to wherever they needed to go within the community as safely as possible. So with all of the incidences that had happened years prior, it was a time basically to say, no more. Just to give you a little bit of history about Rainier Avenue, Rainier Avenue is about 8 miles long here in the southeast end of the city. And at one point, it was a state route 167. It was operated in partnership with Washington State Department of Transportation. So in other words, it's been like a highway. So over the years, people have been involved in collisions. Over a 3-year period, there was 1,236 collisions on Rainier Avenue. That meant 600, that was about 600 injuries, and there was 3 deaths. So after the last incident happened on Rainier Avenue back in that day, where a car ran into, you may be familiar with this, when the car ran into the Terracotta Salon.
Oh,
yeah. Are you familiar with that, Tony?
I am familiar with that.
Okay, so at that point, it was like we had enough. Cars were just swarming down Rainier Avenue, high speed. So we decided to get together. We listened to the community. We got some input from the city. And the big outcry was, we're not safe. We don't feel safe. Something needs to be done. So we rallied and made some changes. We protested down on Rainier Avenue, letting the community know that, these things needed to change. So we advocated for floor speed limit. We advocated for design of the street, that if a collision would happen, that hopefully less danger to an individual would happen. So those are some of the reasons.
Once again, you're listening to Breaking News on Rainier Avenue Radio. Again, the most, at least when it comes to traffic accidents, the most dangerous street in the city. Now, Phyllis, this is taking place in parts, and there was some funding involved. Can you talk about that?
Yes, well, basically, when we first got started, of course, we needed money. And so after the protest, we had gone to City Hall. We had advocated. We were out in the street, City Hall, community meetings, talking with organizations. And then we reached out to, at that point, back in 2014, we reached out to our former city council member, which was Bruce Harrell. Let him know about all, we talked to him about all the difficulties we were having. And the city came forward. And at that point, we were granted over $1 million in funds to have some of the work done. So with that money, we were able to start with phase 1 of the South Seattle, of the Rainier Avenue Safety Corridor Improvement Project. And so that's what's been happening over the last 5 years. Phase 1 was completed back in 2015. When you would look back, Columbia City to Hillman City, there was 2 lanes. There was higher speed limit. The 2 lanes went down to 1 lane. Then now there's also the mid-turn lanes right in the center. There's a lower speed limit. So after that was a pilot program. So after
Phyllis, we're gonna have to go back to regularly scheduled programming here. But tell us what's taking place tomorrow.
What's taking place tomorrow is that we're having a community walk. We have some of the community leaders that is going to come down on Rainier Avenue, look at some of the improvement that has been made. We have like NAACP president, We have Senator Morales. She's going to talk to us tomorrow about the money that she's put on budget to help us with the sidewalks here in the Rainier Valley, south of Seattle.
And what time is that all taking place?
That's going to take tomorrow morning between 11 and 12, and we just wanted to make sure that everybody knew that it has taken a long time, but finally, after 5 years, we have the changes, and we're hoping that no one else loses their life, and that the collisions can go down, hopefully to a zero. But we're going to do the best that we can with the improvements that we have to make sure that we're safe here in the community.
So that's 11 to noon tomorrow, and where at?
Okay, 11 to noon tomorrow, we're going to meet at the Rainier Beach Community Center and walk over to Henderson and Rainier and talk about the changes there. And then we're going to go down to the last phases, which is at Rose Street and Rainier Avenue. And then we're going to talk to some community members and have SDOT answer any questions that the leaders of the walk may have.
Okay, and because of COVID, you are not really asking people to show up. Is there a way that they can get involved if they don't show up?
Yes, that's absolutely right. COVID is here, so we want to make sure that people are home. But if you want to get involved right here in the community, Rainier Valley Greenway Safe Streets, they meet every second Tuesday of the month at 3715 South Hudson in the Rainier in the Bike Works building. If you want to get more involved, you want to know more, if you have any questions or problems or complaints about what's going on as far as transportation, you can notify Rainier Valley Greenway Safe Street right here in the heart of Columbia City.
Okay, this has been breaking news from Rainier Avenue Radio, the most dangerous street in the city, but maybe not anymore thanks to the work of people like Phyllis Porter. Thanks for joining us, Phyllis.